Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Thursday, June 30th. Sorry for a bit of the delay there. I'm joining you off my iPhone tonight, so we're going to be on a bit of a roller coaster, I think, this evening. I'm joining you. I'm on the road again with my work, and I'm gone, so I'm just not in Vancouver this evening. But certainly happy to be with, of course, our Métis members and our partner communities that are watching, hopefully live tonight, to just get some insights and news and updates from the BC Métis Federation. Tomorrow is, obviously a stat holiday with Canada Day. And I know in the Indigenous community, there's some that don't really view Canada Day as a great day when we formed as a country in 1867. But the truth is, Indigenous people were here well before 1867. Our Métis people started to evolve as children of the fur trade prior to 1867. First Nations were here, Inuit were here, so for thousands of years, millennia, they would say. So, but it is tomorrow is the day where the country will celebrate its birthday, and some Métis supported, some have different points of view, and it's okay. That's totally fine. But anyways, I'm Keith Henry, president of the BC Métis Federation. I'm really happy to be with you here this evening. We are going to certainly enjoy some fiddle music tonight. I know we'll be joined shortly by our Métis fiddle player, JJ Lavallee. Hopefully, he's having technical issues himself, so it's just one of those evenings. But I want to start tonight, before we get into JJ, just give you some quick updates, or maybe not so quick updates. There's been a lot of activity with the Federation, and this show typically does a little more fiddle music and that. But tonight, unfortunately, our Vice President Renee Therian is also in a meeting tonight because he's getting ready for their Terrace community event coming up here July, basically 7th, 8th, and 9th, up near Terrace, BC. So next weekend. So I hope I will be up there with a couple of our other team members. Really looking forward to hopefully seeing some of our Métis friends up in Terrace, BC at the Métis Fiddle Festival and weekend event there. So with that, maybe what I'll start with is if we can just, I've got my colleague, Craig, will bring up on the screen, share a screen with the newsletter. I want to start, I hope some of you have seen this week, we have the newsletter that's out that came up. And I'm not sure, Craig, if you can bring it up. I can't see it on here, but I can see you're sharing it now. Perfect. So just if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that in the newsletter, each month, as I think I've said the last few newsletters, we've been featuring staff or board member minutes, and this month we feature Greg Mazur. And Greg's been, a part of our organization for a number of years now and helping us build he's our director of industry engagement. And so he's working on, major projects for the Federation members and our procurement partners, Trans Mountain expansion that's, ongoing full construction right now, a number of TC Energy projects. There is some other North River midstream up in up near, of course, Hudson Hope in that area, Fort St. John. So the job of what Greg does in a nutshell is to really make sure that we're engaged, and he's trying to link procurement opportunities for our partners, our Métis-owned businesses and our partners, and of course employment opportunities he shares with our with the members locally and of course throughout the province. So Greg's been a really great addition to the team for the last number of years. So just want to, hopefully everyone gets to know our team a little bit more closely. And Greg's been a great piece of that work. If you go down a little further on the newsletter, what you'll see, I was really proud of our team. I'm not sure if everyone knew, but the Federation had some volunteers go out and cleaning the beach. And it was a coastal waters protection volunteer program that we facilitated. Unbeknownst to us, there was other sort of we kind of joined with some other initiatives, but there was quite a bit of media coverage on this past weekend. And some of you might have seen the Federation was quoted in the news with our director of communications, Cassandra Sisson, and she was just speaking out about how we were proud to be part of it, and just happy to be contributing to cleaning the beaches and so forth. And it's just part of our contributions as local Métis people to help protect the environment. So I think Cassandra did a really good job. I was proud of our team. This is all under sort of our Coast Guard working group. And you see Angel Fisher there and some other folks from that particular Coast Guard work. So Cassandra is also part of the working group. So, congratulations to our team. They've certainly done a really good job and just trying to share that awareness and information and getting out. And I'm glad that the news picked up on our team contributing that, we also as an organization really value, of course, being part of the, obviously the important environmental cleanups and work that has to be done. Anyways, just want to move on to the next item on the newsletter. If you go down to the next page, here's the big thing I wanted to share with everyone tonight. We're really excited. And, we've been talking about this for a very long time, and we're not 10 years old. We're actually 11 years old as of this month, June 2022. But because of COVID, I think everyone knows that, and we talked about this through our email distribution and so forth. We couldn't have a 10th anniversary celebration. Well, now that we see that, travel is reopening and, it's not quite the public health challenges we had a year ago, we've decided to go full bore ahead with a major 10th anniversary celebration. It will be August 13th in Kelowna, BC. Please watch out for registration details. The Federation will be bringing 2 representatives per partner community that will cover their rooms, provide them, of course, a travel allowance to get there, and so forth. We'll have our board members there. We'll have a number of our team members there. But for our members, you can register, but you'll have to pay for your own hotel. But there'll be no other costs. Like there's no ticket costs. This is meant to be a celebration of our 10th anniversary. I know I've said this before on this show, and I've said it many times. We have worked very hard to build this organization against great odds. If some of you have followed us for a number of years, and to see where we are today, 11 years later, it's just, it's a lot of work, but it's truly inspiring for many of us. We started with absolutely nothing. We had politics working against us and people doing everything they could to stop us from building anything. And today we're delivering programs, we're advocating, we've got provincial and federal recognition like never before. And so this celebration is important to us. What I hope is that you'll join us on August 13th. So the key message tonight is there'll be registration details coming out soon. There's limited room. We have an exceptional lineup of Métis performers, not just from British Columbia, but from a few other places as well. And I've got JJ on the line here. I'll get him to chime in here shortly. And we've been able to raise a fair amount of sponsorship for this event from some of our industry partners. So it's been, we're going to really put a great show on. It's a great meal and just a really nice night of Métis culture and celebrating, 10 plus years. It's a year late, of course. That's not lost on me, but, it's better late than never. And we, now that COVID travel, restrictions have lifted, certainly we're looking forward to it. So again, watch for registration details. Any of our members can register to come attend, but space is limited, and we will be bringing the performers, our board members, many of our team members, and 2 partner community members. So just remember those numbers. There's only room for about 150. You start reverse engineering that, it's not a lot of seats. So please register. Do not just email. You're going to have to go through the online registration process, and we'll be out soon. JJ, are you online now?
Yes, I'm here.
Right on, JJ. Hey, before you play, I don't want to play a song yet, but do you want to share? I know we've kind of talked about this on Coffee Talk every month, but it's becoming very real. Do you want to shed a little light on who's all attending in terms of performance?
Yes. Well, so far, we have an amazing lineup of artists. So we got as many as we could from BC. Of course, we got our board members attending. Roseanne is going to be there. I can't wait to see her and her husband. And I believe her mother is going to be performing as well, a song or two. So I'm excited about that. And we got Sandy Schofield out from Vancouver. She's a well-known Métis recording artist. She's done stuff from hand drumming to Métis songs, and she's absolutely amazing. We're lucky to have her. We also have a fella from British Columbia by the name of Mr. Jess Lee. He's a Métis legend. This guy had records with RCA Records. He's been across Canada touring. He's won awards out the wazoo since 1980. This guy's amazing. So, and we also have the Ivan Flett Memorial Dancers. Yes, you heard it here. Ivan Flett Memorial Dancers. They were on Canada's Got Talent, and they are going to be our headliner. So if you want to see some amazing jigging, there's a trio of two brothers and a sister, and they created this dance group in honor of their late grandfather. They're absolutely amazing, and they made us so proud to get as far as they did on Canada's Got Talent. And that's just a taste. Also, one of our British Columbia artists, we just got the contract signed, and Rick Stavely, he's also a recording artist. He's been to Nashville. He's got songs on the radio. We're really excited to have Rick Stavely. So, yeah, and then at the end of the night, I'm going to be jamming with the band, playing some good old-fashioned Métis tunes, top 40 country and country rock, and just having a good time. So, and I believe we also got told that we have some younger guys. Tentatively, we might have Scott Cornelius from coming out too.
Perfect.
So yes, so I think at first he wasn't able to get out of work, but now he says he can make it work. So I really do hope we can get Scott out too as well. And so it's going to be an amazing lineup, right from youth all the way to elders. And I'm so excited, Keith, so excited.
Yeah, well, just so everyone knows, it's we said, Saturday, August 13th, but it's an evening event, right? There's dinner, then it's an evening of Métis culture, celebration, and entertainment. So, on that note, JJ, you're obviously one of the best fiddlers in this country too. Why don't you give us a tune to get people in the mood, starting to think about their plans for August 13th?
All right. Well, this is a song called Big John McNeil. This will get your toes tapping.
2, 1, 2, 3.
Here we go. Let's go. Hey.
Hey, great job, JJ. That's always that and Orange Blossom Special, two of my favorites.
Yeah, I don't think we hear those enough at events, eh?
Yeah, I know. Those are kind of the two iconic ones for me always. It's like, okay, Métis event. Orange Blossom Special and the big John McNeil on.
Yeah,
So there
Red
you
River Jig, the top
Yeah.
three staples.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. So, hey, you're having some technical issues there tonight. You look like you're in a different background. Where are you at?
Yeah, so well, I of course we know at the Federation. I'm excited. I have some family visitors from out of town. I haven't been able to see my mother in almost 2 years since COVID. So my mother is here, and my daughter. So my daughter's got my music room. That's her bedroom. So she's in there right now, and so I kind of had to set up in the kind of kitchen area tonight.
Oh, okay.
So we got visitors, and we got the mom just finished. You wouldn't believe what we had for dinner, Keith.
What was that?
Fried bologna and potatoes.
Yeah, an old Métis staple family. It's fun. I still miss bologna. Actually, I don't mind bologna still to this day.
Mom asked me what I can bring you from Manitoba. I asked for a big thing of bologna, so she showed up with a big thing of bologna from Manitoba. I was so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, JJ, it's great to have. Why don't we bring back on the screen, JJ? I want to just get your feedback on a little bit more about the 10-year anniversary celebration. Obviously, that's a really good way to get people thinking about it. You're our culture and community coordinator. I know it's been a lot of work for you. I know it's like, we're getting into the key launch date for people to register. What would you like to say to people listening tonight? What's your key message to everyone?
Well, this is for you, the people. We're doing this for our members. We're doing this for our community members. We're doing it for the Métis. We're proud. I'm telling you, Keith, and I always have to tell this story. I remember when I joined the Federation 6-7 years ago. It seems like a long time ago. And Keith and you and I had a conversation, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to get involved with politics and stuff. And you said, well, come on in, try it out. This is what I'd like to see in the future of the Federation. And I've talked to you about this because I'm so proud. I watched from where we were 6-7 years ago to now, and almost everything that you said we wanted to do at the Federation, we've done. And that just shows me that we're on the right track. This is exactly where I want to be, and we're doing this for our members. And I can't wait to have people. I want people to come out and dance. I want people to come out and sing along, have a good meal with us, enjoy. If you want to learn a little bit about what's going on in the Federation, we'll have stuff there. We got the awesome video. I can't wait to see that video that's being put together about the past board members and some of the people we lost over the years. That's going to be amazing. I just want people to come out and share some good old-fashioned Métis fun with us, because we all miss it. I know I miss playing for you out there in the crowd. I want to come to your table and say hi, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while, just like we like to do. So I really hope you all can check the date, August 13th. Come out and let us entertain you. It's a free event, right, Keith? It doesn't cost anything to get in, right?
I said to everyone, I hope they know, there's no cost to attend, but space is limited. And if you need the hotel, you'll get a rate given to you, but you have to pay your own room, right? We just can't afford to pay. So it's about 150 to 160 possibly people that we are going to only have space for at this event. And it's free. There's no ticket price, but you have to register, and it is for BC Métis Federation members. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, and like I said, I can't push these guys enough, but if you want to see some dancing, you have to come and see these Ivan Flett Memorial dancers. If you haven't seen them on Canada's Got Talent, they are amazing. And like I said, Keith, I am so surprised that we got them, because they are busy. They are super busy. Like I talked to Mikey not long ago, and they said they haven't had a chance to sit down. It's like, land the plane, get off, wash their clothes and head on again. So we're super excited. And I want you all to come out and see them, because you are going to be amazed. They are the epitome of Métis dance. They're just going to blow you away. It's going to be amazing.
Well, JJ, it must have been your charm that talked them into it.
Well, I used to play for them in Manitoba when they were just little kids. And I went and played for them, and there was nights, everybody'd have to split $300, and we just did it because it wasn't about the money, it was about getting out there, and we'd go to these events, and we'd make a few bucks. And I remember they were just small, so I've known them, we've known each other for so many years, and it's nice to know that when I gave them a call, they were so excited, and we made it work at the Federation. And I'm happy we were able to reach an agreement to get them out, because I know they're a hot commodity right now. So we're very lucky. We're very lucky to have them.
Well, so JJ, just what so we maybe I don't know, Craig, if you can bring back the newsletter.
Okay.
But Joe, we'll go back to the newsletter for a second. So if Craig can share a screen with that. Thanks, Craig. So yeah, we're just going to maybe go back to the event. We'll just wind up with this event, but obviously this hasn't been released in full yet. What you're going to see coming out next week is the full program, the lineup of all the dancers, the agenda or schedule for August 13th, and registration is first come, first serve. So don't delay, make your plans. JJ is the lead for us on this. Got any questions and you're mad, talk to JJ.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, send me an email, it's j.lavallee, Lavallee at bcmétis.com. Again, it's j.lavallee at bcmétis. And yeah, shoot me an email if there's anything you want to know. And we'd love to see you. We'd love to get you out and get you registered. So you got to get registered though, right, Keith?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so when will we be releasing the registration details? As early as next week, maybe?
Yeah. We were hoping to have it by the end of next week. So we give everyone over a month to register. And once it's filled, it's filled. And I was just letting everyone know, I don't know if you caught that or not as you were getting signed in, but, we've got, a certain number of board members, certain number of staff and team members, a certain number of performers. You start, removing all those numbers and we're at 40 or 50 right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
make sure there's not, and plus we've got some sponsors that are coming that each get some tickets. So we start removing the sponsors and there's not that many. So I just say to people, we'll have hotel information, but we've got great rates and all that, but you have to get yourself there. There's no cost for the event. We feed you. You have a great evening of Métis culture. So watch that. It'll be out next week. I'm hoping before the end of next week, JJ.
Yeah, we're pushing. I know by the 5th of July, we're really hoping to have everything all closed up and finalized. We're really pushing for that.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, we're going to come back to you shortly, but Craig, maybe we'll go down to the next item in the newsletter. I just wanted to touch on, and then we'll break for some music. As you can see on the screen here, I was really just to go show you, like we talked a bit about this, we're now 11 years old, even though we're doing our 10-year celebration, but we have come so far, and this is yet another example that in this particular, on the left-hand side of this newsletter, we presented to the Legislative Assembly's Select Standing Committee on Health. So we are now officially being invited to provincial health sort of our legislative engagement. And what it was is we had our two representatives, Drake and Kevin. They presented to a cross-section of MLAs that are trying to deal with the impacts of illicit drugs across British Columbia. There's been so many overdoses and impacts to families, not just Métis or First Nation, but just across many different cultures and communities in British Columbia. But they asked the Federation to present our view, and what we don't have a lot of health programming yet, although we are continuing to try and build that. What we did share with the province and the standing committee was a certain amount of recommendations, some of which is we need to continue to research with our members, because we do have a very at-risk population within our membership. And we saw that through the COVID-19 relief programming. We saw roughly 300 to 350 Métis families at high risk of food insecurity, of housing insecurity, of just other health challenges. So we kind of stumbled into that, as our team likes to say, because through the COVID relief program, we started to realize, look at their social economic impacts, that they're unemployed, they can't afford to feed themselves. I mean, so not everyone is in that boat, but we saw a certain population of members that were dealing with that. And so what our team did is they made a really strong presentation with a series of recommendations. And if you look on our website, the presentation material is there. You can review it, but the cornerstone of this for us at the Federation is, as we grow our programs across different ministries, whether it's health, education, training, child and family services, all of these different areas now, we're starting to get much more engagement with both federal government ministries and provincial ministries. And this is just the latest example of that. And what I would say to everyone is, we know that certain families have been impacted by overdoses. We know this. We've been contacted by members. So we want to make sure that your voices are brought forward, that if there is to be programming support, we need to tackle those issues with our membership. So there's nothing more I can update right now other than we hope that our recommendations are adopted as located on our website. The reception was lots of questions. MLAs really want to know more about the Federation and the work we do. And if you looked at our presentation material, there was a great map of where we've plotted out where the members are actually from. And we have, as we know, representation from every part of the province and within British Columbia. So I'll just, I'll stop there for a second. What I'm hoping I can do, JJ, is convince you to give us another fiddle tune. We've been commiserating here lots, but I was hoping maybe I could get you to give us a fiddle tune to break up all the.
Well, I have a special request here. I have a little girl all the way from Manitoba who's learning to play the fiddle. And I was wondering if you guys out there, Keith, do you think she can play us a tune right now?
Oh yeah, let's broaden the performance capacity here.
All right. Ready? Come on, you're on. You're on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, come and sit right here. Say hi.
Oh.
This is you remember Keith?
Yeah.
This is
Hey.
my daughter Liliana.
Hello.
Yeah. Welcome to Métis Coffee Talk, and we're all excited to hear you play your tune.
Are you gonna play Maple Sugar?
Yeah.
Okay.
The best one I
Are you
know.
ready?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Holy moly! You have
Wow.
any people in British Columbia, Métis?
I don't know.
How are you enjoying your visit so far?
Very good.
Yeah.
Lots. 10 out of 10.
And what did you do this morning with Dad? I heard you were on stage and you were at the Justice Institute BC,
of
and you were
BC.
dancing jig this morning, weren't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's
All right.
great. Well, you know what? Congratulations. I heard you playing last time you were here, and you were really just learning. You've come a very long ways. Very proud of you. That was excellent, you guys.
It's come a long way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
AJ, come on. I gotta ask you, how does it? Well, Lily, how important is it for you to learn fiddle as a young person?
on a scale of 10, 10.
Yeah.
So it's important to you? What do you?
How come?
How come it's important to you?
Not just because there's music in my blood. Well, I like learning new instruments and like having fun with music, you know? So something I see as myself as an adult is like, I don't know, maybe a musician. I don't know.
Following in your dad's footsteps. There you go.
And,
Well,
and culturally, does it make you proud to be able to play such a, I call it an ancient instrument because for our people, the Métis, it's very important. How do you feel being a carrier of the fiddle at your age?
I feel special.
Awesome.
there you go. Well, you're going.
I told you, but that's the first time I played that in months.
Wow.
Oh,
First time in months.
And
Yeah.
why don't you show everybody the fiddle your dad got you? That beautiful blue fiddle. Look at this.
yeah,
There you
beautiful.
go.
Nothing like dad putting you on the spot live on an online show. Hey,
Well, you know what, Keith? She wanted to come out and learn what music's all about and being on stage. And I told her to get on stage this morning, and she was shocked. And I put her on the spot today, but I told her that's exactly what it's like. You got to get used to it. People are going to call on you, especially if you play that fiddle. You got like a minute to make a decision, and that's it. So I'm really proud of her.
And you can't just bail out. Like if like 10 people are telling me to go up and you are telling me to go up, I can't just be like, nope, I'm not doing it. I can't just do that.
Well, you did a great job.
yeah, great. Like that was great. Like it really sounded really good. And come on, JJ, I got to ask you as a dad, how does that how proud does that make you?
Absolutely. Very proud. Yeah, I mean, I remember when she was very tiny, 2 years old, and we used to have this little ornament fiddle, and she couldn't stop playing it as a kid. And she would sit there. I got pictures of her, and her mom, by the way, I just have to add, her mom messaged me and said she got her grades back from her piano. She's level 6 piano. She got 86% on her exam. She's made it all the way to 8. She hasn't had a mark under 80, and she's learning piano. She taught herself guitar. She's learning fiddle,
euphonium, and now I'm going to be learning bari sax in grade 7.
And you know what? She showed me something today. She says, Dad, play a chord and I'll tell you what chord.
Play a note, any note.
Okay, watch this.
G. A.
A. What's this?
E.
Oh, that's E. What's this?
D.
Okay, now I'm really going to stump you. What's this?
C.
There you go. So I'm very proud because I couldn't, if you asked me what note I was playing, I couldn't tell you which note. So
what's this note?
I'm very proud of her, and she's an amazing young lady, and I want to see her succeed.
What's this note?
I don't know.
What's the very bottom note? This one.
I'm not sure. But anyway, we're probably going to have to roll along.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, Lily.
Great job. Good job, Lily. Okay, Craig, why don't you bring back up the newsletter? That's great, you guys. Proud dad.
I thought it would be a cool little surprise for everybody out there, and it was fun.
It was.
Thank
that was
you.
awesome. You know, you're setting the gauntlet very high for the rest of us parents. So, Craig, I just want to go back to the top of this page just a little bit here. Yeah, it's the training, employment, and career service survey. You know, I want to let members know we are, continuing to build employment and training support. We don't deliver the employment and training money for Métis and BC. Métis Nation BC does, and that's fine for their members or their citizens, as they refer to them. But we have been engaged with Service Canada quite substantially. And I'm not sure if many of you know, but because of the work we've been doing directly with many industry partners, we've helped create, over 125 jobs this last year. We've got over 80 resumes on file. We've got, if you look on our website, we have about 190 jobs that are posted in a variety of sectors, and they're all real-time employers looking for people. But we're doing the survey, and I just would encourage you, if you have a moment, just to help us get more information on the survey. We are working with Service Canada. We're hoping that we're going to be able to deliver some additional supports for Federation members and our partner communities to enhance the work we've been doing for employment and training. All the work we've been doing so far is self-funded. We've raised all those dollars through our partnerships, and we've been investing in staff and in programs to do what we could. But where we're finding a gap is even though we might see someone needs a certain support, we don't have a lot of flexible funding or other money to draw from to actually help them with, whether it's, finishing them up a little bit of industry training for something or first aid, or we don't have a lot of those kind of additional tuition and living allowance dollars. So what I will say is that we've continued to create things. Karen Andrews is our lead. She's employment at bcmétis.com. If you look on the survey, if you go down to the bottom of this particular page in the newsletter, you'll see the survey the link is there. I would just encourage people to access the link and and help fill out the survey. We are hoping we're hoping we can bring some solutions for this fall semester for our members. The problem is this, what our members are being, facing is, if they don't become a Métis Nation BC citizen, then they don't get their support, their program. And I understand why that organization is doing that, but the money they get was for all the Métis people. It's based off census information. So they get a certain percentage of the overall labor market dollars for Indigenous people for BC based on roughly 90,000 people was the last census. So there's a formula that the government of Canada has, and MNBC gets funding for, and which I understand. But that formula doesn't restrict who can have access. It's to be for those people that are identifying as Métis through a variety of ways, not just Métis Nation BC citizenship. I'm not here to say don't be a citizen. That's up to you to decide. But I don't want the choice for our members to have to decide to leave our organization to get help from another one. Like that's not right. So we're dealing with this. We hope we have a solution. We're going to keep trying to work with Service Canada and deal with this. But this survey is another way that we can do that. So maybe JJ, can I come back to you for another fiddle tune?
Yeah, exactly. No problem. Our buddy VP Rennie Therian, he always plays this. He inspired me to learn it. So here's a tune Rennie plays called Cajun Fiddle.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, that's a little a slight modified version than the Renee version, but it's awesome.
Yeah, a little bit of ad-libbing,
Yeah, I saw you going all getting real style in there.
Yeah, I was trying to throw some Doug Kershaw in there.
Yeah.
A little bit of diggy lie.
Yeah, I moving in, and I was like, wow, he's really hamming it up here right now. It's awesome.
I think I'm having more fun now playing music than I've ever had in my life. I'm having more fun now. it's not so serious anymore. It's all about making people happy and having fun.
Don't you think though that it's a good point, JJ, but don't you think a lot of us are because of what we went through for the last 2.5 years with COVID? I think doesn't it feel like as much hard to work and long hours, and
You
we're all
nailed it. You nailed
like,
it. Yeah.
I'm just so thankful that we can finally like move around again and meet people again. And it's not totally perfect yet, and I know there's still some COVID strain out there, but it
Yeah.
feels like really reopening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the sad part about it, and I noticed this, is like I'm getting out amongst people now. I'm doing a few shows, and people are like, they know they want to get up and dance, and I know I want to give her, but you're like, can I do this? It's like a psychological thing. Like you really want to let loose, and I think slowly we're loosening up, and we're starting to feel that comfort level again, being around people. We're feeling safe again. Everybody's most people are vaccinated, so they're taking care of themselves and stuff like that. So I mean, it's all coming together, Keith, and it's been a long time. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because yeah, it feels like it's been so long since we were actually able to just get together in the same room and listen, chat, dance, play music. Seems like forever. I can't. That's why
Well,
I'm so looking forward to the 13th.
yeah, me too. August 13th, because we haven't had a big event like that in years, right? And, it's a bit ironic that we're having the 10th year anniversary celebration and we're over 11 years old, but that's okay.
Yeah,
COVID created that. So,
yeah,
but we're not changing it to the 11th anniversary because we've got some special things we're going to feature there. So we were it's right where it is. Yeah, Craig, maybe I can get you to bring up the website. There's just a couple other items I was going to comment on just to make sure members are aware. Um, uh, I don't know if everyone saw this week, but some other just sort of updates. Well, the big one I wanted to share is that there was the federation was asked to attend sort of a CBC sort of engagement session about how we would want to be sort of represented in the media, and I have to commend the CBC on this because I don't see CTV or Global or some of the other sort of major networks in Canada um, really focusing on the media representation, and this is a big issue for a lot of us because the media is very helpful when there's conflict. They get the story out, but I hope that as we evolve, there's just so many people in society yet in Canada that still don't really understand and believe stereotypes, and they don't really realize that we're a diverse community. There's some traditionalists, there's some contemporary artists, there's different points of view. We're not all homogenous in our politics. My point is, I'm just glad that we had Joe Desjardins attend an engagement piece with CBC. Whether you like the CBC or CTV or Global or City TV or some of these other major networks in Canada, I just think it's good that the media is asking the questions. I know they won't get it right, and I don't feel they've got it right for a long time. I deal a lot with my Indigenous tourism, and it's when you look at the actual sentiment of Canadians, and a lot of Canadians think of Indigenous. As soon as you say Indigenous, they often think of protests, conflict, a lot of those sort of situations. But the truth is, I'm just seeing so much pride and culture. I just watched JJ here doing fiddle music with his daughter. Like those are the stories that we need to get out in the media to showcase how our cultures are thriving. They're surviving. They're not going the way of a museum, and that's to our children, and that's exactly what we want. So, I just want to let our members know this is another just an example of the advocacy and some of the work we've been successfully meandering, I guess, in this last little while. JJ, what's your thoughts? You see a lot of stuff in the media, but what's your perception of how the media covers Indigenous issues?
Well, I can honestly say that my opinion is that the media shows what the media wants to show, but I think they really need to work harder with Indigenous communities and show what we would like them to show. Like you said, more about father and daughter playing music together, family playing music together, elders teaching the younger. That is one thing that I would really like to see. Approach us and say, hey, how can we showcase your community? How can we showcase your culture? What would you like us to do? What would you like to see? Because through our eyes is what we want the audience to see. That's what I think. And sometimes the media doesn't quite get that right. And you, it's just my opinion. And I've seen it quite a few times. Is you see a story and you're like, well, that's nice, but was that really, they could have done more, or, there's a lot more happening. So I definitely feel that we need our own view. We need our own say. We need to say, this is what we would like to do on camera, and this is what we'd like to showcase to people. Because there's much more to the Métis than really just the fiddle. There's so many, our Métis people, Keith, and you know this, from the beadworking to the dancing to the baking to the storytelling. There's so much amazing artists out there, and they're not being showcased enough.
Yeah, it's funny, it's that there's that side. I think it's so important to your point. I think that's, the artwork. I mean, that's one of the most powerful ways. And thankfully we have people like you that are showing that by just being yourselves and getting out there. Right. But, I even just think what really prompted another sort of thought process on this, if we're watching, there's been a lot of conflict again recently in BC over the old growth forests and the logging. And I know a lot of people that aren't Indigenous perceive that as an Indigenous-led fight. And yes, there's some Indigenous people there, but there's a very divisive view on the Indigenous side there. My point is, I'm not picking sides. My point is, the media doesn't really, to me, in my opinion, they don't really feature the actual whole view. They give a perspective they want to share, and they stick with it, right? And I think we need to do better. And I whether that's truth telling, it's like, and just think of like, ask yourself, is anyone talking about the residential school bodies that were found anymore? Do we realize there's like, what's the number now? It's something like 11,000, and we've only looked at about 10 or 11 schools out of 100.
All over 5 digits. It's disgusting.
Yeah. And no one's talking about it. And I know that we don't want to live in the past. I'm all about moving forward and trying to, but we can't not tell the truth. We can't, like, it affects our membership. It affects me personally. I know it affects you. It affects and every time a story comes out, it's just like a quick, like that. I find it interesting that the media doesn't get Indigenous people's perspectives in BC about how we feel more. They talk to a lot of First Nation views, but they don't get a lot of Métis views. And Métis people went to residential school. I find what they'll do is they'll get a Métis view from someone from another province, or they don't talk to us, and our some of our representative organizations, or yourself, or, there's no perfect person to talk to on this. But I just find it, I wish the media wouldn't do shortcuts. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, get to the story. If you're here in BC media, then talk about the impacts on the Métis community in BC. Don't go talk to all Métis people. There's not, the other thing media does in BC is they only want to talk to one organization because it's easier. That's, we've been in the media too, don't get me wrong, but there's not just Métis Nation BC and BC Métis Federation. There's local Métis chartered communities. For MNBC, we have partner communities. Like, I want those communities to talk about their issues. Like, it's how do we help educate media? And I'm glad Joe was there, and I know that he'll be raising that and raising the importance of diversity of views. But I mean, it made me really think quite significantly when Joe was participating on that this week.
Joe's a great advocate for us. He's right out there, and a great speaker, and he's very knowledgeable. Like, I talk to him on a daily basis about his research, and he just amazes me of what he's discovering about Métis here in BC. Stuff I had no clue. Like, it's amazing, the work he's doing.
Yeah. So look, we're almost at the end of the. Do you want to do one more song before we wind it up?
I do want to do one more song, and I just want to do a little plug. Now, quickly, if there's anybody interested in Canada Day tomorrow, I'm going to be at Bill Reid Amphitheater at 12:30 playing some Métis music. But just one quick little thing before we go. I know a lot of musicians that are not performing for Canada Day because their feelings, their own personal feelings, they want to cancel Canada Day. Indigenous people shouldn't be celebrating. I understand. But the reason I'm going to be working with the First Nations there as well at their First Nation or the Indigenous stage. And we're going to start off with an opening prayer of reconciliation from some elder chiefs. And then I'm going to be doing my song, Truth and Reconciliation. And then we're going to end that off with some Métis fiddling. So I believe that we can't just cancel Canada Day. I think that we have to get together, and I understand it's hurtful, it's sad, and I know how people feel, but I think we need to bring ourselves to come together as a people. We're a country now. You can't undo what happened, and we need to find a way forward. And by canceling things is not the way to do it. We got to show our resilience by being there, by playing, by celebrating, by holding this fiddle high and by playing this music and showing our energy in dance. That's our resilience as Métis people. And that's why I'm taking gig on Canada Day, because I want to show our resilience. We're here to stay, and we're going to get through this. This is what we are. We're a resilient people, and we're strong, and we're proud.
Awesome. Good words, JJ. So what's your song? What's your final song going to be?
Florida Blues.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, awesome job, JJ. That's awesome.
Thank
So
you.
tomorrow, so tomorrow you're going to be Bill Reed on Howe Street, downtown Vancouver.
No, Bill Reed Amphitheater in
Oh.
Surrey. It's actually 176th and 64th. And I believe it's a free event, I think, pretty sure. And I remember 2 years ago, they had like 12,000 people there. It's an amazing venue to be playing in. I'm really honored that I was asked to be there. And they specifically asked if I do the Truth and Reconciliation song. They said, we know it's not a happy song, but we love it and the message is there. So they asked me to do that and then end off with some fiddle. They're like, make sure you end off with some happy fiddle because we don't want to make them sad and leave them sad, right? But no, I'm really happy to be part of that tomorrow and be representing the Métis here in British Columbia.
Well, congratulations, JJ. I'm glad you're going to be there. So for those of you looking to do something tomorrow, Canada, if you don't have any plans, what time is this at? I don't know if I caught the time.
My set will start at the opening ceremonies for the Indigenous stages at 12. They'll be doing the prayer with the elders and stuff and the speech of reconciliation. And then I'll be doing my song about 12:15 and then 12:30, we're going to do some fiddle music right till 1 o'clock.
Right on. Well, those of you looking around in the Lower Mainland and BC and or around Vancouver, you can go to Bill Reed Amphitheater, not the other place.
Yeah. 176th and 64th.
176th and 64th at noon tomorrow. So thanks, JJ, for a great show. I really appreciate all your fiddle music and
sorry I was late.
Oh, hey, don't worry. I've had I don't even want to get in. I've had so many technical issues too. So we're like a marathon runner that just broke a leg and a wrist at the. So
but we keep going. We'll finish the race.
Yeah, once the show must go on, no matter what's going on crazy behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
want to say thanks to you and Craig, of course, our technical support behind the scenes that not everyone always knows. But Craig, thank you for all your help tonight. And I just want to say to everyone, yeah, Canada Day's tomorrow, obviously, July 1st. And yeah, it's, that was the celebration of, I guess, or the Constitution under, British rule at the time of 1867. Roughly just a handful of provinces slash territories at that time. It wasn't a full landmass we see today, but we're here now, and I think JJ, I agree with you. I think we can't. I know there are people that want to cancel and all that, and that's their prerogative. I think that we should use these as opportunities to educate, and hopefully the non-Indigenous people setting up Canada Day celebrations find ways to have Indigenous inclusion in all that they're doing in their events. Not to make it a damper on the day, but just to, bring some truth in a healthy way. Because I think Canadians do want to support reconciliation. I see it in my tourism work I do, and it's just time, So good on you for tomorrow, JJ. So have fun tomorrow at noon, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, Keith. Thanks for keeping the show going here. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, with that, I just want to say, everyone have a great night. It's been another one of those shows, and thanks for, make sure you just watch the website, watch our Facebook, make sure you're up to date, and there'll be new opportunities coming up soon. So, just keep on top of what's happening with the BC Métis Federation at bcmétis.com or obviously our Facebook page. So have a great long weekend, everyone. I'm happy to continue to moderate this show on behalf of our board, our staff, and our consultants. We're a proud organization, and I really, really hope you're putting August 13th as a celebration day. JJ gave us a lot of tidbits of information for great performers. The Ivan Flet dancers, you heard what he had to say. Pretty excited. I am too. So have a great rest of your evening for this Thursday, June 30th, and thanks for watching for this month's edition of Métis Coffee Talk. Good night, everyone.
Good night.